I've got to start here. But this is awesome. You guys are typing in stuff. All right. Hello. Wait a minute. Hello, Wendy from Salt Lake City. Carol's here from Steels from Chicago. Awesome. All right, everybody. We're going to get started. My name is Stuart Cohn. Welcome. Here's the way it's going to work. I'm going to give you the top 20 bad habits that boot camp will break. Go in a little bit of detail. Then right afterwards, I'm going to tell you if you're not already in boot camp, we're celebrating our 1-year anniversary, and that's why we're here today. So we're here today because boot camp is working for the many agents who are inside, and I'm here to spread the love, show the world what's going on. Amazing things are happening, helping travel professionals like you to master the group business, and give you an opportunity to become a member. And because it's our 1-year anniversary, I'll show you the membership offer to the end. But the bottom line is I'm not here necessarily to sell, although I am. I'm here to sell you on the concept that you can master groups, that you can change your group habits. So I'm going to show this slide again at the end, so you make sure we can connect at the very least. Just like my Facebook page, Stuart Cohn Show, because that's where I post new events. I do a lot of free events. I did one a few weeks ago, and you're always welcome to come to my free events. There's my email address, and that's the boot camp, but I will come back to that after. There's a quote from J.C. Penney. The best way to stop a bad habit is never to begin. Well, wouldn't it be nice if we never started that bad habit? But I've been in the business almost 30 years, my friends. Almost 30 years. Some of you I used to call upon when I was a DSM with a cruise line back in New Jersey, right? And then I grew to be an executive with companies. I've started brands, started companies, and I'm realizing that I needed to produce this boot camp because we were never really, I'm counting myself as part of you, we never taught better ways, proper ways, or new ways. So we sort of have been doing the same old thing for so many years. So my answer to J.C. Penney's quote, my response is the best way to stop a bad habit is to replace it. So ladies and gentlemen, travel professionals, welcome. I am grateful you're giving me your time, that you're here right now. And my mission is to give you new choices, to replace some of those bad habits that you may be doing. Now, here we go for number 1. So let me do this. I just have to move this off to the side here and see everything is good. All right, I'm going to come back now. Here's the deal, by the way. Like I said, we're going to do Q&A after. But if you have a comment, a question, go ahead and type it in. And probably after, I'll go back, see if I get to them all. All right, here we go. Number 1, buckle up. You're mixing up spec and affinity groups and diluting the marketing strategies. Spec, meaning speculative, synonymous with a promotional group. Now, I'm sharing this with you because I see this a lot. So the habits I'm sharing with you, I didn't make it up. These are truly the biggest things I found that boot camp is helping to overcome when agents say to me, oh, I didn't realize that. So here's the deal, folks. They're totally different. I'm not here to talk you into doing promotional or speculative groups. I'm here to talk about affinity groups. Affinity groups, of course, are where there's a magnet. A strong magnet that pulls the people together. The people may already know each other, like a family reunion. The people may not know each other, like the group that Andrew was talking about doing earlier, sort of heritage tours, cultural tours. They don't know each other, but what do they have? A common bond, the glue that binds them together. The interest, the hobby. They could be part of an association located all over the country, but they're part of the association. There's an affinity. They want to be together. A spec group is when the people don't want to be together, looking for a deal. And I'm all for you taking out spec space or taking advantage of a promotional opportunity that a supplier is offering you, but you market them entirely different. Those people don't want to know they're part of a group. Now, sometimes a group develops out of that. That's awesome. But a spec group is pretty much price and deal oriented. And it's good to market to your database. You have an opportunity, a wonderful deal. But marketing them is entirely different, my friend. And you can't take an affinity group and turn it around and market it to everybody else and create a special deal. Affinity group is not about the deal. It's about what's going on. It's about the event. I talk a lot about this in boot camp. So the habit of I'd like you to break is make sure you separate. And corporate groups are entirely different too. We'll talk about it in a minute. And this is, in boot camp, I have a video that talks about, make sure you understand the difference between affinity, promotional, and corporate, because they are different. And today, We're talking about affinity. That's where the money is. That's where the money is. That's where the future is. Number two, you still got only one foot in the door, and it's negatively impacting your brand. Overwhelmingly, most of the agents I meet in my whole career, they dabble in groups. Yes, we do a few here, a few there. We want to do more. We want to do more groups. That's why I call my boot camp How to Get More Groups and Make More Money. But I'm here to tell you that if you're just going to put one foot in, you're going to keep getting the same business you've always gotten. And the problem is it impacts your branding. See, if any of you out there right now invite me, if you're not 100% group focused and you're interested, you're wanting to do it, it's something that's been in your want to do bucket, but you're afraid to declare your group revolution, I'll go to your website, your Facebook, look at your business card everywhere, and maybe you'll say the word group here or there, that you love groups, you want groups, this kind of stuff, but I don't walk away knowing that you are groups. Okay? I don't feel that from you based on what I'm seeing in all of your marketing. So you're giving me, see, you're running your business sort of fuzzy, and your marketing message, your personal branding is fuzzy too. Because you're afraid to commit your business to groups. Therefore, in your marketing, it tells me you're not committed to groups. So why would I call you as a consumer? Why would I call you as a consumer? When I come to your site, your Facebook, your business card, it's got to be consistent and it's got to scream groups. And don't just tell me you love groups, you do groups. Tell me stories, show me people, give me testimonials. I want to see you standing with the group on the stairs of the cruise ship saying, here we are. Okay, and again, not enough time to go into, but here's a PDF, part of boot camp. There's lots of click and play video modules and lots of PDF special reports that you download and keep that tells you how to build a solid group foundation. So I hope that perhaps I'll convince you to make that commitment. Not only to you, friends, but to the customers, so they know that you're committed to groups, that you don't just dabble, because they'll know. Okay, number three, you're still trying to sell groups, but people and organizations don't want to be sold to. Read it again if you didn't get that. Yeah, I would say about 100% of agents, no, 99.9, say this to me. That they've tried making phone calls, they've sent emails, they've sent letters, and they're trying to go, they have a great group idea, right? And they're trying to sell a group. Well, that's not how it works. Listen carefully. That old habit is gone. It's not how it works. You don't sell groups, my friends. Nobody wants to be sold to. Do you want to be sold to? No. Your mission, listen to me carefully. Your mission is to find people and organizations with a problem and positioning group travel as the solution. So you are a problem solver. That's how they allow you in the door, because you're not coming in wanting to make a sale. And you don't blab on about this phenomenal, great group idea until you realize they need to hear the idea, that they've got a problem. Quit trying to sell groups. And in boot camp, I've got tons of modules. How to win an existing group. How to create a brand new group, like Andrew said before, and some of you also typed in that medical group. Somebody approached you, so it's a brand new concept. But some of you also have great group ideas you want to launch. Remember, it's about problem solving. Nobody was going to buy something that they don't think they need. Okay, there's also another PDF, 30 more things how you can prospect and source new groups. I try to put all the tools and tips in boot camp to help you change your thinking, give you new choices. One of my favorite quotes is from Zig Ziglar. Success and happiness are not matters of chance, but of choice, I'm here to give you new choices to change your habits so that perhaps you can grow your group business. And that's my goal in boot camp, is to help you master the group business model. And by the way, if you've just come in, thank you. You're in. We have capped out. We are sold out. So everyone who's coming in late is not getting in, and I'm so sorry. That's just the way it is. But I'm going to record this, and I'm awful glad that you're here. And if you do have comments or questions, remember, I'm going to stick around after as long as you want me to address them. All right. Next, you're blinded by the excitement of getting a big group and forgetting to ask the right questions to avoid the nightmares. This is a big issue, my friends, because you either have a great group idea and you go and you block tons of space, Or somebody approaches you, or you approach them, and everyone's like, yeah, we're gonna go, we're gonna go, we're gonna go. And what happens? None of them go, or one of them goes, and you got a problem. You just blocked all the space. You just made investment of time, made an investment of money, but you forgot to play the detective. You forgot to ask the right questions because you don't want a nightmare. How many of you have had a group you've been very excited about, and it became a nightmare, a disaster? Well, what I try to do at boot camp is avoid you getting into that mess, into that trap. And it's called my group viability test. Now, you may have heard this before. I've been talking about this for years because I've seen this as a huge problem. Now, it's a 10-step group viability test. Things like, what's their history? I tell you exactly what to look for. That's going to be your indicator if it's going to be good or bad, because I want to help you know before you go so you don't end up with a nightmare. I talk about, in terms of the reach, the media. Is there an easy way to reach them? Because, friends, if you have to spend $1 on advertising, you may want to walk away. The whole idea is that what we say, that there's an affinity, whether they know each other or not. There's got to be social media. There's got to be a place where they meet. And you go where they meet, whether it's online or real, in person, live. So there's 10 different things that you need to assess. It's a viability test that'll let you know if it's going to work or if it's not. Because if it's not, you're going to say no, you're going to walk away and let it be somebody else's nightmare. And one of those nightmares, okay, is that for me, this is a nightmare for me, is that, and if this is you, you can raise your hand, because I won't see you that you're the guilty party. But are you still sending group proposals by email and wondering why they focus on price and rarely call back? It's so easy just to put together a nice little presentation and say, okay, call me when you've had a chance to review it. Watch this. Watch this. Not going to work. Doesn't work. Because what are they going to do? They're going to skip to the last page, right? They're going to go right to the last page, and they're going to look for the price without you even telling them what's included, what they're going to get. It becomes number-oriented. This is critical, my friends. I spent a lot of time at boot camp talking about how to do the presentations. Now, for instance, if you look at, I don't know if you can read this here, but there's 4 things your presentation must do. And you never, ever send it. You never let them read it before you deliver it. You deliver it live, whether it's on a conference call, whether it's on a webinar, or whether it's live and in person. You never, ever send it first. You send it after. And when it comes time to talk about price, you mention the price up at the top and say, this is all the things that it includes. Okay, now this is just when you're going to make the sale to the group leader. A group presentation is 4 objectives to confirm you're going to meet their key objectives. So you're going to give them the things they want. Number 2, to confirm you will overcome the key obstacles. So you're going to demonstrate you have eliminated what they don't want. That's more important than giving them things they want. They don't want the same nightmares they've had in the past from other agents, or if they booked by themselves and they've screwed it up. They want to make sure they're not going to fall in the same trap. You've taken care of that, you know. Number 3, you're going to confirm that you are the only agent for them, that they wouldn't think of doing this group trip without you. And finally, you're going to ask for the sale. Take it home and read it. Let me know when you've had a chance to make a decision. That dog don't hunt. I think they say that here in Memphis. All right. So presentations are critical. Please change that habit of sending an email. It's so easy. It's the easy way out, but it don't work. It doesn't work. Number 6, you're not assessing if the group leader will truly deliver, which is leading to stress, frustration, and failure. By the way, remember I just talked about that group viability test? Well, it's a 10-step test, and step 10 is assessing the group leader. Will they commit and will they deliver? I did a survey of tons of travel professionals before I built boot camp because I wanted to know the biggest thing that keeps you up at night, that keeps you awake at night, that gives you the nightmares about groups. And guess what? Number 2 was finding more groups. Number 1 was getting the group leader to deliver. That's right. That's number 1. Okay, so my point here is that, sorry, I had to adjust something on there, was that you need to assess if the group leader, before you get there, is going to do it. And I teach you this in boot camp. One of the key things I want to tell you right now is this. It has nothing to do if the group leader is the president, the chairman, the CEO. It has nothing to do with the title, although that certainly might be an indicator, but it's not. Is the group leader going on the trip? Do they have skin in the game to see it successful? Have they gone in the past or not? But here's the big one. Write this word down. Are they the key influencer? Are they the most influential people? When I say people, could be a couple or influential person in that group. Excuse me, I'm getting so excited. So your mission is not to find the person at the top, although you may need that person at the top to sign the agreement letter, which we're going to talk about in a second. But the group leader should be the person who's the most influential person too. And they may not know that they're the group leader. And they may not want to be called a group leader, but you're going to tap their expertise and their ability to be a social butterfly to gather the troops, and you're going to put them to work for you. And how do you put them to work for you? Pay attention. Number 7, you draft an agreement letter. Bad habit number 7, you're not drafting agreement letters. You're struggling to get the group to do what they promised. And the only way you get that done, my friends, is if you have a group agreement signed. Now, I know if I was to do a poll right now, and hang on, I got to get rid of a button here. If I did a poll right now and asked you guys, how many of you get a group agreement signed every time? Probably 10, maybe 20% of you would say yes. Maybe. If I was to ask how many of you do it some of the time, maybe 30% of you, a third of you would say that you do it some of the time. The rest of you don't do it. This is critical. And the beauty of a group letter is that it's not written strictly to protect you, it's to protect them too. So when you sit down, shake hands, and write it together as strategic partnership, and basically I give you the elements. I don't only give you the elements, I actually give you the template. The actual template to follow, so you don't have to think of these things. I've already thought of it. It keeps you both accountable to each other. And that's how you get the group leader to commit and deliver. Number 8, you're not creating and maintaining a P&L for every group. You know what P&L is, right? Profit and loss. You're not budgeting, forecasting, nor preparing to make good financial decisions. I don't know. If I was to do a poll, I don't know, 40%? I don't think it'll be 50%. It's never been a full 50% when I do a poll of how many of you actually do a little P&L. And I give you a P&L in boot camp. It's an Excel spreadsheet. But you need to know where the money's going, where it's coming from. It's called financial intelligence. You need to project so you realize that if you don't sell so much, if you sell this much, here's your profit. If you sell this much, here's your profit. You need to know all the variables too. And if you can't do it, get your accountant, somebody who's good with the numbers to do this. But it's actually simple to do and so critical to do for every group. And you're going to use it throughout the group as things change. It keeps you in line so you make good financial decisions when you have to spend money on marketing, or if a new opportunity comes around, should you include it, should you not? You need to know before you go so you don't lose money. This is part of a 3-part series, protecting your profits and increasing your financial intelligence. Part 1 is the P&L, and part 2 is the markup and selling price. And speaking of markup and selling price, number 9, you're relying on commissions only rather than netting down and marking up. How many of you are just earning what the supplier is willing to pay you? If you've heard me speak before, you've heard me say this very clearly, that I don't know how you can survive on commissions alone. I think that's just a tip. That's a gratuity that the supplier is willing to toss your way. It's a tip. How do you survive? How do you have a vibrant, robust income when all you're making is commission? Even if you're at the top making 50%, my friend, you got to net it down and mark it up to make what you deserve, to make what you earn. Number 10, you're still focused on reductions, discounts, and deals versus superior packages, higher value, and more inclusive rates. So if you're netting it down, it's so much easier to create what I call the package. If you want to know among the biggest secrets in group success, getting more groups and making more money, How many of you create packages? It's about creating the package. And you can only do that, my friends, if you net everything down. And then you mark it up. And I give you a marketing cheat sheet too, so you know how to mark it down. Because I didn't know how to do that. Then I finally figured it out. Let me see here. I'm just checking to see if we got low studio for this low camera. Wait. Okay, I see some people. All right, some people are making comments, and I'll come back to them. Thank you. I just want to make sure I'm still coming through loud and clear. Thank you very much. Remember to put your comments or questions in there. All right, let me just collapse that because we're halfway through. We're at 10. See, it's the power in the package, my friends. Because here's what you do with the package. What do you put in the package? In boot camp, I tell you how to, and I hope you become a member. If you don't, we'll still be friends. But I hope you would. What you want to put in the package, all the things you got to make sure these are the things they need and or want. Because if you put something in the package they don't need or want, they're going to ask you to remove it. So you first need to get permission to package. May I present you with a package that includes it? Well, why would you do that? Well, I'm going to do that because it allows me to really do some great negotiating. So I'm able to increase the value. Increase the value. You see, you can go on this trip, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, an organization or group or family reunion, and it can be an okay time if I just give you the bare bones stripped down off the shelf price. Or if you allow me to create a package, you will have it won't be okay, it won't be good, it won't be better, it'll be the best ever because I'm going to think of the things that you forgot, that you never knew existed. I'm going to think of the things that when you get there, it's going to cost you more money, it's already going to be sold out, or it's going to be inconvenient because you go wait online, you're going to miss out. I know what's there before you go. That's what you put in the package. That's why you net down, and that's why you mark up. Am I making sense? The power's in the package. Very big part of boot camp. Number 11, you're not maximizing supplier support and co-op dollars, which leaves resources and money on the table. Guess what? All my years on the supplier side, you're getting the value of that, my experiences, because I've been there, done that. I've seen agents, thousands and thousands of agents requesting co-op dollars. I've led sales teams, sales organizations on the supplier side. When they come to me saying, Stuart, I have these agents who are asking for money. How do I give it out? Well, I'll show you how I made my decision so you know how to go get the money and what support to get, what they are capable of doing for you, to help you. I'm sharing this knowledge, this experience with you. It's not stuff I made up. It's not theoretical. It's the real deal, my friends. I've had to maximize their support, stuff you may not have ever thought of before asking, but they can give you, and how to go get that money to reduce your marketing expenses or any expenses and sell more. This is a biggie here because this is brand new. It's called the group launch sequence. It's unbelievable. You're rushing to publish rates and then doing the promotions after, which is the old, watch this, I didn't cuss, Bass-Ackworth's method of launching a group for sale. Yeah. If you're rushing to publish rates and then doing the promotions, looking to build up momentum, I'm sorry to say, my friends, but it's old, it's outdated, and that's Bass-Ackworth's, and it ain't going to work. Because once you put numbers out, listen to me carefully, once you put numbers out, it is almost impossible then to build momentum. The last thing in the world you do is reveal the pricing, and I've created what's called a group launch sequence, and it only exists in my boot camp. It's brand new. It's absolutely never ever been communicated before, but it's what's called the best way to promote. It's redefining promotions. And by the way, that's what it looks like in boot camp. If you were to log in today, and my boot campers who are on know that, on that right-hand column, you go to the different weeks of training, so forth, but you just click and play the video. It's that easy. And this is a multiple series of video modules I've put together, including PDF downloads from my boot campers, and I hope for you'll take advantage of it to learn how to launch a group so it never bombs again. Right? How many times have you had a group where everything seems perfect? The product, the price, and the place. But then you go to do the promotion and it bombs. I redefine promotion step by step, exactly how to do it. The last thing you want to do is publish pricing. And I tell you why and how to do it. Why? Because I'm going to tell you. You can't sell anything based on price alone unless they know everything that it includes, or I should say, all of their overcoming all of their fears, objections, issues, concerns, obstacles. You need to remove them before you have permission to ask for the business. And the minute you put a price out, that's when you're asking for the business. You see that? Because that's going to turn them on or turn them off. You got to do a lot before you put the numbers out. Number 13, you've never been in the habit of taking control of the booking window, which explicitly tells them when it's time to buy. And we just talked about that briefly with the group launch sequence. This is a bad habit we have. We just rush out to publish the price. We say, okay, I'll take your booking, I'll take your booking. And you keep taking bookings and taking bookings and taking bookings, so people have no sense of urgency. You need to create the urgency. I show you how to do that. Number 14, you're drowning in individual customer service calls. Is it true? Is this a bad habit? And not operating at peak efficiency using smart tips and tools. And I give you at least 19 of those tips. 19 in a video and tons more in PDF special reports. For instance, like using online forms. I'll show you where you can build an online form free to capture information. I show you how to capture all of the questions that are coming in and publishing them immediately online, directing people there, and having events, meetings where you answer. There's so many ways to work it efficiently so you're not pulling your hair out of your head, especially if your hair at this age is very valuable to you. My hair is very valuable to me. So think about this. Now, a bad habit is to operate efficiently. What could you be doing to mitigate the tons of calls and emails you're getting of the people asking the same things over and over? Remember, a group means you're selling, you're managing, you're servicing them as a group, not as individuals. Big takeaway for you. Number 15, you're not escorting or hosting your groups because clients say they won't pay and then things go wrong. Hang on there. Crazy stuff going on here, but it's all good. How many times have you thought you should be escorting that group? How many times do you think you should be there because you know it's high risk? They have all these meetings or celebrations or needs, and you're like, do you do that? Well, I used to do that when I lived in Jersey and New York. That means, uh-oh. But what does the client say? The client says, sorry, I'm not paying for you to go. Well, I'll show you how to overcome that, because the last thing in the world you want to do is send them into a zone where terrible things are going to happen if you're not there. And the answer there, here's the answer, is to convince them that that the last thing in the world you'd allow them to do is have this group event without you there. And the last thing in the world you're going to ask them to do is to outright pay for your trip. Because first of all, it's not a vacation. Second of all, you don't need them to buy you the trip. Third of all, the secret there is the fact that you're going to build it into the package. You're going to build it in. It's all going to be baked in, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, whoever the group leader is who you're negotiating with. It's all baked in. You're not only buying my expertise, but you're buying me. I'm part of the deal. I'm part of the package. You don't have to pay me separate. It's already baked in. You wouldn't think of taking this group on the road without somebody there to make sure things don't go wrong, to make sure that you're when you're there, you're behind the scenes and ahead, so that you are there in that room. You are there making sure, doing the scouting reports, that everything is set and ready. And in week 4, I've got 92 salient tips of how to escort professionally and do phenomenal things for your people. Number 16, you're giving out TCs and incentives before the trip finalizes, which is financially. How many of you ever done this before? How many of you? All right, so two-part question: have you ever given out TCs or things before the trip and things went okay? Well, you're lucky. But how many times have you given out the TC or stuff, and then all of a sudden you realize, I didn't earn it. I don't have it to give away. Why? Because there were last-minute cancellations. So I teach you at part of boot camp, and this is a bad habit we're talking about here, is you never want to give this stuff away. It doesn't get given away until you have it to give away. Because you all know, and I know, there are always last-minute cancellations that could potentially miss you from earning extra. And that TC, that's why I recommend you never ever even give out a TC. Never give it away. Most of the time, they don't even want it or need it. All right. Number 6, we can talk for hours about that. Yeah, so week number 4 in boot camp, Ultra Week is group disaster avoidance training. Is actually a 3-part series where I talk about this and so many other things that could go wrong. So if you know they could go wrong, I try to teach you to avoid them so they never go wrong. They go right. One of them is learning how to build yourself into the package and escort. It ain't no vacation. That's why you need to get paid. That's why they will pay you for your professionalism, but they're not going to buy you a cabin. It's all baked in. Number 17. You're not sharing, manifest, and reconciling with the group or the supplier and potentially missing people and profits. Are you doing this? Do you know how to reconcile? Are you sharing the manifest? Listen to this here. Back up for a second. Are you sharing the manifest with the group leader every single week? And then in the couple of weeks leading up to the group, my friends, are you sharing the manifest of what bookings you have with the group leader to make sure that they see who is booked, who may have canceled, who they may have thought have booked but hasn't booked? You need to be doing that with the group leader every day leading up to the group, couple of weeks before or a month before, because you want to make sure what? You want to make sure, say it, let me hear it. You know the answer to this. You want to make sure people didn't book around you. You want to make, especially if it's a destination wedding. That's a huge subject we talk a lot about in boot camp, because you want to make sure that the people don't book around you just so they get to be there and they think they're going to participate in the activities, and you end up not getting the credit for that booking towards the TCs and so forth. You got to end that. Right? And reconciling after, how many times have you reconciled, which means you get the final report from the supplier and you realize, hey, you calculated this wrong. Fix this for me, please. Number 18, you're overlooking a highly lucrative group type, corporate groups. How many of you do corporate groups? Thought of doing meetings and incentives, but you don't know how to get into business? Well, I give you an overview and some nuts and bolts, because one of the beautiful part about meetings and incentives and corporate groups is that, guess what? You get one paycheck, my friends, one check from one vendor. It's an exquisitely magnificent type of business to get into, this kind of groups. And very, very few agents are mastering it. I will help. Number 19, you're missing out on the many joys of repeat referral groups by doing everything to ensure they rarely come back. Let me explain. Is this a bad habit? Are you not welcoming them home? Are you not making sure there's something for them when they walk in the door, whether it's a voicemail message or a postcard in the mailbox? Number 2, are you not boldly expressing your gratitude that they've made you the agency, the professional, the travel professional who's taken care of everything? And remember, there's 3 things you do as a travel pro. Write this down. Write this down. Number 1, there's only 3 things you can do. Number 1, you remove stress and risk. You remove stress and risk. Number 2, write it down. You increase value and convenience. Number 2, you increase value and convenience. Number 3, you transform lives. You take what would have otherwise been an okay trip and you've made it good, better, and the best ever. You want to express gratitude. Number 3, you're not asking for next year's trip before the other trip has even ended. Number 4, you're not sending out the survey. You need to know. You need to give them an outlet. You need to give them a release to find out what they liked, what they didn't like, so you can take care of it for next year and know for future groups too. And number 5, you're not asking for referrals. Do you have any friends or family who need a vacation? Right? Stuart's phrase that pays. Do you have any friends or family who have any special events on the horizon? And number 6, I can't believe I actually hear this sometimes. I ask, how'd the group go? And the travel professional will say to me, I don't know. I haven't heard from them, so I assume it went well. Watch this. Watch this. True, right? It's not their job to contact you. It's your job to contact them and do all the things I just said. Number 20, finally, stick around because I just want to show you the deal. And I'm getting excited here, so I think I've gone a few minutes longer. I wanted to end in a half hour, so I'm sorry, but I hope that you're finding this refreshing, enjoyable, re-energizing. I hope my goal here is to validate things you're already doing. Perhaps number 2 is to remind you of things you may have forgotten. Number 3 is to introduce you to brand new concepts, new choices of how you can get more groups and make more money. And number 20, you convince the internet and direct sellers are stealing group business and consumers don't understand your value. And you know what? If you think consumers don't understand your value, you're probably right. And it's nobody's fault but your own, because only you can communicate your value. Remember what I said before, those 3 things you do? Number 1, you eliminate stress and risk. Number 2, you increase value and convenience. Number 3, you transform. That's your value. But you can't just say it. You have to do it. You have to demonstrate it. And you have to remind them of that. And know the internet and the direct sellers are only going to steal your business if you allow them. At best, they can only do a one-dimensional job at groups. There's only one person on the planet who can do groups phenomenally well, and that's you. They are going to sell bare bones, stripped down, off the shelf products. They don't package. They don't present like you do. They can't escort like you do. You can. So they don't have to beat you, only if you allow them. And it's your role to express your value and why what you've produced, why this event is so phenomenal. Now stick around here. This is part of my 1-year anniversary celebration of Group Bootcamp. And in about 30 seconds, I'm going to look at what questions you may have asked. And I'm going to see if you guys have any questions. I'm going to hang around as long as you want for Q&A. Whether you have a question or not, stick around, be a fly on the wall, and see what everyone else is asking. See what their problems are. So here's the deal. You have 48 hours. 48 hours from this moment forward for the next 48 hours. That if you become a member of Bootcamp, you get an extra 2 months free. So it's 12 months plus 2 months. You get 14 months membership. Like I said, it's phenomenal. And check out the webpage so you can learn more. I don't want to sell you too hard on it. You'll know in your heart of hearts if it's right for you. If it's not, that's okay. We'll still be friends. I'm glad you came. But Bootcamp is $600 for the Ultra package, which is unlimited, all-inclusive, access at any time. The only time you have to come to a live webinar is when I do the Ask Stewart Hour, which is every other week. And you can come if you want, but that's where you have direct access to me, my experience, my tips to help you with your specific group issues or challenges. And to share best practices too. It's wonderful to hear from everybody to share. And you have a choice. If you don't want to start now, if you're going on vacation, if you're not ready yet, just deposit. But you got to send me an email saying, Stewart, I want to lock in the deal, but I'm not ready to start now. So you can either buy now, start now, or you can deposit now, but email me and ask me for the link, and you can start anytime you want. I don't care. It's all up to you. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to leave this screen up right now so that you can see it and contact me. Let me know what you thought of this presentation, this program. And I'm going to go to the question board here. But first, I want to express my gratitude to you for sticking with me through this. Man, the last time I did a presentation, I did the top 10. This time I said, I want to give you more. I gave you top 20. I went slightly longer, but it's still under an hour. We're done. If you got to go, bye-bye. If you can hang around, I'm going to read to see what other people have commented or questioned, and you're welcome to go ahead and comment a question too. If you have an issue, a question for me about Bootcamp, reach out to me. Send me an email. At the very least, like my Stewart Code Show page, because I do all kinds of free events like this all the time, which is stuff that you could be doing for your clients too. Okay, let's see here. Sandy. Oh, Sandy, here we go. This is awesome. Sandy says, would you say hi to me so I know it's live? Sandy, it's live. Look, I'm even pitching myself. It's definitely live. Let's see. We got Jeffrey from Tacoma, Washington's in the house. Kareem is looking for groups of patrons looking to experience classical music, opera, and ballet in various arts capitals across the globe. I love it. That reminds me of Vienna, man. I can move and live in Vienna because of all the music, all the wonderful things. Kareem, go pursue your niche. Andrew, pursue your niche. And the gentleman before who talked about the medical groups, pursue your niche. And that gentleman who said you were contacted, if that's not your niche, if that's not your comfort zone, make it a new comfort zone. Get to learn it. Okay, and Amanda wants to know, how do you get the PDFs? They're all in Bootcamp. Although I'll tell you what, if you guys want, if you want a free sample, I'll tell you what, Amanda, if you want a free sample of one of the PDFs, I will give you the group Not the group launch sequence. Not going to happen. That's worth $1,000 in and of itself because you'll never have a group that bombs again. But if you want the group viability test, send me an email. Say, Stuart, would you please send me the group viability test PDF? And you got it. You'll get a sample of it. How's that? Otherwise, no. Nothing else free. Which is just like when you're a travel professional, a consumer says, can you send me all this? And you say, no, I'll give you this. But you want the rest, come and get it. I've got it. That's the way it works. Mickey. Hey, Mickey, welcome. Passion is river cruising. Don't know where to find the groups. Let me tell you something. Number one, listen, everybody, this is important. Another bad habit. We think we need to go out. You think you need to go out and find all the groups. I would say quit worrying about going to find them, but can they find you? That's the first step, Mickey. Can they find you? Meaning, if I Google your name or your business name, what will I see? If I go to your website, any of your social media pages, what will I see? Does it reek of groups? Does it scream groups? Does it tell me that you love groups, you desire groups, and you're the best at groups in the world, and I'd be crazy not to hire you to do my groups? And then groups will find you. Groups will seek you out. That's how that works. And another tip I want to give you, stay with me. See, the people who stay get even more, And by the way, my goal, I want to bring in 50 new people from today's webinar into boot camp. 50. Help me hit it because I know I will. I know I can help. I will help you master the group business model. Everyone in it loves it. And I guarantee that you're going to be happy because I haven't had not one person in boot camp say, everyone loves it. And different things resonate with different agents because you're pursuing different things. And I help you with that. Let's see. For this alone, signing up for boot camp. Michael, I think, Michael, you're in boot camp. All right, even for number 6. Awesome. Glad to hear it. Karen wants to know if my camera works well. Have I set it up? Actually, Karen, listen, everybody, because I want you to do presentations like this. Whether you're having a Skype conversation with just a couple of people, or you're doing your own webinar, okay, go get your camera. This is a Logitech camera. It cost me $75. It was the best $75 I've ever spent. The picture is clear and crisp. Now, I will tell you, I'm using a professional microphone too. Well, let me tell you something. The microphone was probably the same amount of money, maybe $60. If you want me to send you a list of the tools that I use here, the mic and the camera, and I have a light too. I have a light. I have a professional light. It wasn't a lot of money. There's stuff you can do that don't cost you a lot. Seema said Seema, you do have a group agreement letter signed. More power to you. Awesome. Everybody on the line, you need to start. For $600 alone, just to get the template to write a group letter agreement is worth it. Because then you're going to get the group leader to commit and deliver. Okay. Dave says service fees, baby, up front. You got it. And when I say service fee, if you notice, Dave and everybody, I didn't even say service fee when it comes to a group. You know, when you do your one-on-one people, if you have to have a service fee, I believe in that. I'm a big believer in that. And that gets dicey what words you use. Should you say service fee? Should you say, I don't know. Everyone has different words they use, and it's a righteous ask. It totally is. But when it comes to a group, you don't need to ask that, Dave. You don't need to say you've built in service fees. You're just going to say, here's the package. That's it. And your markups are built in the package, baby. Levon wants to know what is the P&L. The P&L is the profit and loss statement. Did I not say that? The P&L is the profit and loss statement. Yeah. Okay. And you could do it in Excel. You could do it on a piece of paper by hand. You get your accountant to set up a little spreadsheet for you. Whatever you do, use a P&L so you make good financial choices. If you can afford it or not. If you're making money or not. Here we go. There's great stuff coming in here. Can I repeat number 10? I don't know. I don't even remember what number 10 is. I'm honest to goodness. Hold on. You want me to go back to number 10? Hold on. Never before done before, ladies and gentlemen. Never before has he ever done this before, but he's going to do it. What's number 10? Here's number 10. Oh, you're still focused. There we go. You're still focused on reductions, discounts, and deals for superior packages, higher value, and more inclusive rates. Okay, and just to explain that for a second, If you just focus on selling groups at a price point, then you're making it listen to me, you're making it a commodity, and they can buy, you guys know this, they can buy the same block of rooms from Palace Resorts or Allure of the Seas, the same exact block of cabins, block of rooms from 20,000, 30,000, 50,000 other people, other travel professionals, online, direct, click, click, click. So what makes it different? The package. It's not about rate. It's about the package. I hope that helps. Margie wants to know, how do you solicit a restaurant? You frequent very often. Margie, listen to me. I hope you're still here because I'm going to answer your question. And by the way, Kim, you missed number 10. There's number 10 right there. How do you solicit a restaurant? I'll tell you what you don't do. You don't walk in saying, I have a great idea to do a group. I'm a travel professional. They'll say, thank you. You're the 5th person who's walked in today. You say, hey, I live locally. I own a local business like you, and I'm a big fan of your restaurant. I'm one of your best customers. Can we have a cup of coffee? I'd love to talk about your business and really learn about what you do, how you keep your customers loyal, and how you do what you do. I'm a small business owner too, and I'm impressed with your operation. Can we meet for a cup of coffee? Margie, that's it. You just ask and if they won't meet with you, say, hey, you know what? Give me 15 minutes on the phone. And I'm going to give you an example. I found out that in Memphis here, there's a really famous, legendary speaker who lives here in Memphis. He's my neighbor. Well, I don't know where he lives, but he lives in the same community. He lives here. I want to become his friend. I'm not trying to sell him anything. I'd love to do work with him. I'd love for him to mentor me. I'd love to do a project together. By the way, his name is Don Hudson. Don Hudson, Hutson. He's written 2 different 1-minute manager books, one with Ken Blanchard. Okay? He lives local. So I just called his office. I said, hey, I'm a local business owner too, and I'm a professional speaker too. Would Don have 15 minutes? I just want to introduce myself. Let him know I'm new in town, and I just want to make his acquaintance. That's all. And then, Margie, you get in there, and you see if they have a problem. You play detective. See if they have a problem. Okay? I'm going to go back to the information slide there. Put that back up. I'm glad we were able to make that happen for you. All right. Let's see. I'm going through. Hang on. And I'm going to end. Before I stop, by the way, I'm going to give you a countdown. How's that? Before I end, I will give you the countdown. So stick around. And remember, the deal with boot camp, it's $600 for a year. You get a bonus extra 2 months. And if you just want the deal, just send an email to me. I'll give you the $100 deposit link. And by the way, that deposit is refundable anytime. So if you wake up tomorrow morning and say, oh my God, that guy Cohen took me for a ride, it's baloney. I don't like his style. I don't like his looks. I don't like his pink shirt. I'll give you $100 back. Margie says, is it a good idea to charge $3 per person for a coffee and a presentation? So if you're doing a presentation, should you charge? So here's the deal. I don't know what kind of presentation this is, Margie. If you're actually presenting to a group of people who may be prospects to come and be a part of that group, then no. If you're doing some kind of a presentation at the library or in the Panera and you're doing a presentation on Alaska, you're going to talk about this and you want to share knowledge, share information so you can network and build up your list and get new customers and see if you can find new group opportunities, maybe you can do that. Why? Because that gets people to show up. When they have to pay, they have to show up. That means they're serious, but it all depends. I wasn't sure the exact nature of your question. Seema says, connected with many charity organizations, talked to many cruise lines who are interested to donate their cause. Help me start selling to have fundraiser groups and also get auction items. You know, fundraiser groups are really big business, and I think you started with the right place because you need to talk to the supplier to see if they are fundraiser friendly. And I've got a lot of people in Boot Camp now who already do fundraisers, and I guarantee you they'll be happy to share best practices. But the first things first is to make sure, first you want to give it the group viability test and send me an email if you want that free PDF. So you want to make sure, because just because it's a fundraiser scene, but listen everybody, it does not mean that it's a hands down gimme group. People are not just gonna book a cruise or book a vacation package just because some of the proceeds are going to a charitable event. There still needs to be a very strong affinity. Now, if it's specifically through an association or organization or club, you've got a much better chance because the people have reason to be together. There's already the affinity group built in. But if you just want to do a cancer fundraising for battling cancer, well, if you're not attached with a specific organization or a specific group, if you're just going to market it out there, it ain't going to work. People need to know, well, why? Okay, that's wonderful. But you know what? Asima, they could say, you know what? I'm just going to write that $200 check directly to the organization. I'm not going to spend $5,000 on a vacation. I'll just send them the check. So this still has to be very important. And one thing I definitely recommend is if that supplier is fundraiser friendly, okay, talk to their fundraising experts because they'll show you what to do and they all have different rules, what they're going to give you or not give you. And don't think that you got to be the one giving away stuff. I suggest strategic partnerships. Don't just think you got to give away travel. That usually comes back to bite you. I can't go in this state. Can I transfer? Can I change names? Can I change my category? Can I bring my kids? It's a nightmare. Susan says, will you be sending out links to the presentation? Have to leave early. She probably has left already, but it is being recorded. Hopefully it's all working well. And I'm happy to send out links. Yes. Margie says she always escorts. So I'm going to zip through these now because I'm going to end it probably in a minute or two. Here we go. What? Rapid fire. Here we go. Right. So Margie says that she always sets up a minimum participation and requires insurance for the group. Insurance, big deal. I couldn't agree with you more. Now, remember, you can't build it into the price. Legally, you can't say insurance is included. That's illegal. But you can dance around those words. You can dance around it and still include it without saying it's included. And they still have to have the ability to opt out if they demand it. That's a whole other subject for a different day. I actually had an Ask Stuart Cohn show with Isaac from the Travel Insured, and he really helped out in the area because insurance is so critical that your people have it, number one. And number two, it's critical to your profit margin too. Okay, let's see. Loiston says, TC, I mentioned TC. TC is torque conductor. Great question. That's torque conductor. And usually with whether it's a resort or a cruise, the more you sell, the more TC or torque conductor credits you earn. It's not a free cabin. It's not it's not totally free. Because remember, right, everybody? Oh my gosh, you still have to pay port taxes, and there's still, if it's a cruise, you probably have to pay non-commissionables and whatever. So be very careful with this TC stuff, torque conductor stuff, and don't immediately give it away. Lena says, at what point do we give the price of the trip and not when we start to promote? If we have people have no idea how much the trip will cost, will they be interested? Well, that's a great question because I told you before, you do not reveal the price. Okay, but what you are going to reveal is as you go through what I'm going to teach you to do in boot camp, as you do the promotion, okay, as you do the sequence, okay, they'll know what kind of trip it is. They'll know it's a river cruise. They'll know, of course, it's a Caribbean cruise. They'll know it's a long weekend retreat at a resort. They'll know, okay. So they'll at least know. They'll know the product, the number of days. Let them go figure out about how much it's going to be. Believe me, trust me. First thing to do is go online. They're going to see. They're going to check. They're going to want to know about how much. Okay, but I'm telling you, you don't want to reveal the price. And trust me, if they stick with you through how I show you how to do the promotions, and when you get to the last promotional event you do, when you reveal pricing, right up at the top, okay, if they've stuck with you that whole time, they are more than likely going to buy. Why? Because they already have some level, listen to me, expectation of what the price point should be. Now, the price you're going to reveal is probably going to be higher. The price you reveal is probably going to be higher. Why? Because it's not a stripped down bare bone price, the prices that they've seen all over the internet. But by then, they already know what's included in the package. And they're going to say, wow, are you serious? That already includes that, and this that I'm going to be buying anyway? That's the secret. Here we go. Susan said, really interested, send me the offer. Okay, I will, happy to follow up. Cami says, thanks for the webinar. You're very welcome. Amber says, do you believe a group leader is a mandatory component of a group? Listen, this is the last question I'm going to take. Do I believe a group leader is mandatory? Yes, but, which just negates everything I just said, Amber. You can be the group leader. Every group needs to have a leader, the most influential person. But it doesn't have to be somebody else. It can be you. It can be you. Oh, Frank wants to know, could you pay on a monthly basis? Absolutely. Yes. In fact, if you go to the website, if you don't want to shell out the $600, I'm happy to get you going right now, and you'll pay me $100 a month. It's an auto ding card. It'll hit your card $100 a month, and you're done in 6 months, and you get the 14 months. So the answer is absolutely. Great as always. Finally ready to go in my groups. Great, Jenny. Thanks for coming back again. It's good to see you again. Yes, and Amber said, of course you can be the leader. Wow, there's so many good stuff here. All right, I'm going to try to follow up after, but I'm going to call it to an end right now. I do hope to hear from so many of you. So many of you are good. My goal is to have 50 of you in boot camp. In any case, if you're not, just make sure you RSVP my Stuart Cohen Show or be on my list so that you can come to more free events. And I'm really grateful you're giving me your time. Thanks so very much, everybody. And I wish you happy sales. And remember, success and happiness are not matters of chance, but of choice. I hope today I've shown you what some new choices, some new habits that you can replace the old, possibly bad habits with. Thanks, everybody. Happy sales.